had you not that. Thank you. Today, y'all, we're going to rock it out. Some of these things you might know, some you may not know. I hope you enjoy what you see because we didn't really want to teach you how to do pages and modules because we're tired of that. We're going to go a little bit deeper in things you may or may not have known, or maybe some tidbits. And if you know of extra tidbit that goes along with it, let us know. Ashley's going to kick us off with number one. We've got these 10 listed here, the 10 things we want to show. I'm throwing it in the chat now. So you don't have to worry about writing them down. We've hyperlinked the how-tos on all of these things, so you don't have to worry about the how-tos. You got ITFs, you got me. We can help you out with learning how to do these things. Rock and roll, Ashley.
All right, yes. So like Marty said, all the resources are there. So I'm going to kick us off with a very simple one, and it is the undelete tool. And so I know none of y'all are like this, but sometimes I delete things that I should not have deleted, like pages, assignments, announcements, things like that. And so the undelete
Can't
tool
see your screen. It's just showing the WSFCS page.
All right, well, let me stop and reshare. Maybe I shared the wrong screen.
I was just thinking in my head, I was like, oh, for doing a presentation like this, I need 2 screens. And then,
yeah, I have 2 screens. So
I know.
Are you seeing the right screen now?
It's still the same screen.
It's still your blank screen or whatnot.
If they exit full screen, and then you'll see the screen that Ashley's showing on your Zoom window.
And it is not wanting to share it. I wonder if my screens have gotten messed up. All right, so let's try to do it this way. All right. My screens, when I reconnected my computer, this one is supposed to be 1 and this one's 2, but it got messed up. Okay, neither here nor there. Everyone sees the right screen now?
Yes, thank you.
All right, awesome. So one of the tools I want to show you today is the undelete tool. And so some of you, like I said, some of these things you may be familiar with and some not. So if I go into my pages and I have a list of pages there, and for whatever reason, I delete something. That didn't mean to do it. I don't want to jump on a call with Canvas chat. I email Marty, but he's on vacation. My ITF isn't in the building. So what you can do, if you delete like an assignment, a page, an announcement, those kind of things, if you go to your home page, and you'll see up there, and you, from your home page, you do backslash and undelete and hit enter, it's going to bring up for you items that have been deleted from your course. So for example, you'll see that page right there. I named it undelete so that I would be able to restore it quite easily, but it'll have a list there. It'll tell you when it was created, when it was last updated, and I can restore that. So if I hit restore and hit OK, now when I go back to my list of pages, you're going to see it there. It does come through unpublished, so if it's something you want published, you'll have to redo that, but it will restore some of that content. This isn't always 100%. Sometimes weird things happen. So if you use the undelete and it doesn't come back, you might have to reach out to Canvas chat or your ITF or someone like that. But it is a good starting place of something that you can do on your own if you delete some of those items.
How far back does that go?
It keeps a running history of your course. So if it's
okay,
for the history of your course. Like the other undeleted thing was from when Marty first created this course several months ago. So that's the first tidbit. So on a scale from 1 to 10, while Marty's getting ready to share, on a scale from 1 to 10, how helpful do you think the undelete tool will be? Right.
For Canvas.
For Canvas, yeah. All righty, sweet. So some people, looks like it's pretty helpful. Awesome. All right, Marty.
Beautiful. Everybody, can you see my screen and see what gets me excited? So the next thing on our list of 10 things are new quizzes. And I know that you all have been putting different things on Canvas, but now's the time of year that new quizzes can come in handy for all of us, because we know the EOGs a lot of them are going to be online this year, helping our students review for those and get ready for those. New quizzes, you're in your course, you click on quizzes. You will be prompted with quizzes or new quizzes. You're going to want to pick new quizzes. Quizzes are going away, so there's no need to learn those. Always pick new quizzes. We always want to learn the newest things, so just remember new quizzes. I have a quiz created because I want to show you all the type of questions that you can ask in quizzes. And then I'll briefly show you how to set these up. We can't go through all of these different pieces. But I've got we're going to take this quiz together, and I am going to go directly into, I got to move all my stuff here. I can't see. I can't get to it. Okay. We are going to.
You have lots of questions in the chat. Can we access old tests all year?
Yes. I'm not able to read the chat right now because I'm just barely trying to get through these pieces or whatever. But I had a quiz here. That is not, okay, wrong quiz. Fun times. Chickens is the one I created for you all today. And we're going to put some of these answers in the chat. Ashley's going to share some of the answers to some of the questions that we've got. I've created this quiz. I want to go through this quiz with you just to show you the types of questions that you can ask in the quiz. So which is part of a chicken and which is part of an egg? The germinal disc. Y'all type it in the chat. Ashley's going to call out the first thing she sees. The germinal disc, does it go in the chicken or the egg? Your students can drag either way. I can't hear you.
Everybody's saying the egg.
It is the egg. The yolk.
Egg.
All right. The gizzard. And
Chicken.
cloaca. Albumin.
Egg. People are saying egg.
Is actually the white of the egg. Very nice. The liver. Egg or chicken.
Chicken.
Very nice. The beak.
Chicken.
Chicken.
And then the chalaza.
In the
Egg.
chicken.
Egg.
Egg.
It is actually part. It's the white stuff that you see on the egg that holds the yolk in place or whatever. Then you could absolutely browse. You could ask the kids to find a picture of a square or a rectangle or whatever you wanted them to do, and upload it to upload whatever types of files. So if you asked them to upload a picture of a chicken, it would be there. Okay, matching here, match the group name with the animal. A group of geese are called a what? And everybody holler them out. Gaggle, very nice. Ducks, a group of ducks.
Covey.
We're going to say covey. That is incorrect, but we're going to say a group of crows.
Murder.
Murder.
Very nice. And a group of quails.
Oh, it must be Covey.
Covey.
It is a covey, and then a group of
So
ducks
ducks are
or a
the other
raft.
thing.
Very nice. And then if we wanted to order some things like the digestive system of a chicken, we could ask kids to do that. What do y'all think the very first thing in the digestive tract is of a chicken?
Gizzard.
Beak.
Beak.
We're gonna go with the beak. What do y'all think's next after the beak?
Esophagus.
We're gonna go with the esophagus. What do you think's next?
Gizzard. Gizzard.
We'll go with the gizzard.
Gizzard.
Gizzard. The real term for a gizzard is ventriculus, and then you have the proventriculus.
Crop.
They're probably near each other, right?
I don't know.
Probably.
All right, the crop, where's it at? It doesn't really matter, but you get the point. We'll see how we did in the end. Why did the chicken cross the road is the essay question that we created here.
She was
To get
stupid.
to the
Away
other
from
side.
Marty.
To
finish the
get
joke.
away
Give us the
from
raise.
Marty. Okay.
No.
Baby turkey is called a.
It can be done. Oh, a chick. No. Poult.
All right, we're gonna say poult. I like that word poult, but we're gonna spell it like this and just see what happens. All right, and then there's this picture that I put here. It says, click on the chicken's head. Click on the chicken's head. Tell me when to stop.
Now.
Left.
Right there now. Okay, I'm gonna click right here. Someone, that's what I heard. Then we have this reading passage right here. I'm not going to waste your time because I know it'll take some of you a really long time to read this or whatever. But the chick is pecking on their wing in the story. True, false. You have true, false stories.
False.
False. How many times does a chicken peck?
3.
3. So notice that we've done a couple things here. You can add the stimulus and add different questions, any of those question types, and then you have true, false, and numerical answers that you can answer. We're ready to see how we did on this quiz. We'll submit. And there are 2 questions that are requiring grading.
Oh.
We did really great on the difference between a chicken and an egg. The teacher will come in here and give you a correct mark for this picture. We got the cubby wrong, so we actually got the entire thing wrong. We can change the points so that if we needed to, so it was worth 4 points. We got a few things out of order here. We did get the cloaca being the last one, and then I've got to come in here and grade this or whatever. But this is an incorrect answer because like no one would want to get away from me, especially the chickens, until it's time to eat. Okay. Notice that this is wrong. This fill in the blank, I could have had a drop down and it could have been multiple choice fill in the blank. It could have been a choice. It could have been a long paragraph. I could have had different answers for each one of them. Or for this one, I could have typed in. And in this particular, the way it grades, we can allow for some misspellings and stuff like that when you're setting it up. We got the answer correct because this is not the chicken's head. This is the chicken's head. And notice that I had a hot spot over the chicken's head, so it shows you there. And then in our chicken story, we got those questions correct. Really, really, really cool, right? Turn to the, I would say turn to the person next to you and say, this is really cool, but then your dog or your cat or your kid at home would be like, Mama, what's going on? Daddy, like what's really happening here? So I did want to show you all, when you're in your class, when you're in your course, let's get out of here. When you're in your course, you'll go to quizzes. You can create a new quiz. And like I said, oh, there it is. Then you're going to click on new quizzes. Remember that choice for that course and submit. You can title your quiz. You set up all the parameters of the quiz. You can include it into the grade book. Sign it to everyone. Set your due dates. Click save. You got to put a due date in there. We'll just do anything and click save. This is one of our longer ones that we're going to do today. And then once you can add your instructions to your quiz, when you click the plus mark here are how you build all of those things that I just shared with you. Okay. And then this is the stimulus question that you put in the picture of the passage, and then you can ask any of these questions. And then once you create these questions, you can add them to item banks. You can share item banks with other teachers. If you had things in your item bank, it would be this little piggy bank here that you can pull questions from last year or earlier in the semester and stuff like that. We don't have time to actually go in there, but remember, elementary and middle school, you all have an ITF at your school that can show you any of these things. High school, I'll work with you and we'll find you a way to learn these things. And my tip number 10 is the most valuable tip of all. So that's
Marty,
new quizzes.
Marty, can I ask
New
a question?
quizzes. I want everybody to type in the chat whether you're wow or a meh on new quizzes? And then I'm going to turn it over to Ashley. Wow or meh?
Hey, Marty, can I ask a question?
Yep.
On the new quizzes, there was a question in the chat about, does matching give partial credit? From my experience, it does not.
Okay, that's the answer. You
Okay,
answered.
I
you
just
can-
didn't know that you got a 3 out of 9, but I think it should have actually been higher.
Yeah, can you make the questions worth more, like those 4 matching questions or whatever? Can you make them worth 4 points? I believe you can make them 4 points and go override later. And this, now that we're
Okay.
having this conversation, this is a known issue in Canvas with new quizzes, and
Okay.
they are working on a fix for that.
All right, thanks.
And I just want to reiterate, so we'll have access to all the old quizzes we've already created this year, like next year and everything. They're not going away or anything. Okay.
Yes. And if I hear anything different about that, I will make sure Jerry knows about it and send it your way. Ashley, you're up.
All right. The next small piece that I'm going to share with you is something that Canvas just released in one of their newest upgrades. And so let me share my screen again. So a lot of you are very familiar with assignments in Canvas and giving students different assignments. One of the things that is new as of, I think, March last month is when you go into the speed grader and you are grading assignments. So you're in there, you give students some feedback that you want them to take a look at. This is an example from one of our courses that we're just playing around with. If I go in and type something, you need to redo this based on feedback. One of the new things that teachers have asked for in Canvas, and so it's, like I said, it's a new feature. When I'm in there and I give them that feedback and they can see this, there is now a reassignment button. It does not change the original due date and that kind of thing, but what it does is if I click reassignment, it now shows back up in that student's to-do list for them to go in and to redo it. So that's kind of a workflow piece for teachers to help create that efficiency of workflow. So as you're giving that feedback, whether it's a paper or a worksheet or whatever it is you're asking students to do, that is a new feature within the assignments part of Canvas. And so I can go in, this will not. Let me go in.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yep.
So with the new way that we're supposed to be uploading assignments, it doesn't let us grade it through SpeedGrader. And so what I've noticed, if I give my students assignments in 4th grade and I say, I need you to redo this, or I need you to answer this or look over this, they don't see those assignments. They don't see those messages when I grade it, using the new format to upload assignments.
Are you talking about with Google LTI?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the only thing that doesn't work with, and Google owns that product now. The old Google Canvas Google knows of this issue, and I'm hoping it will be fixed for next school year. You just have to know that ahead of time going in as a teacher for this year. I'd like to say sorry about that, but Canvas and Google says sorry about that.
Yeah. So you can see I'm mirroring Jennifer's account. She's on maternity leave. So you can see that under recent feedback for her, I have feedback, but it also took that assignment and put it right back in her to-do list, even though she submitted it once. So just a little bit. And like I said, that's available in the assignments piece of Canvas.
Ashley, I had a question.
What you got?
Would I have to unlock the assignment, even though I do a reassign? Or does it just helps the students see they need to redo it?
So it just helps the students see that they need to redo it. One of the things I did is I played around with it. If you don't allow multiple attempts for that assignment, so they submit it before the due date or whatever the case may be, if you don't allow for multiple attempts, it won't let you click the reassignment button. So that is a good thing to kind of know ahead of time, is when you're setting up the assignment to at least allow multiple attempts for submission.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. All right.
All right, so
Question.
John Hattie says that feedback is one of the higher on the scales of teacher effectiveness. But sometimes you can give feedback and students will never read it. But I will tell you something. One thing that they will read is what their peers say about it. So another great feedback tool for our students is peer feedback. So when you're in your when you're in your course, you will go to your assignments when you're clicking on assignments. And I did this earlier today. What are your most fun moments? But when you're creating your assignments, you can create assignments, and in this, you set up peer feedback as one of the pieces that students can. You require peer reviews. You can get Canvas to manually assign it, or you can manually assign it, or Canvas can automatically assign it. You take how many reviews should each kid do. You assign the reviews after the due date. You can make these peer reviews anonymous. So that's the basic setup of these peer reviews. And notice that it has to be an online submission in order for that to happen. In order for these peer reviews to happen. That's the setup. This is what it looks like. So the students are have done, what are your most fun moments as a teacher? And then we go to peer reviews, and we can see that not a lot of people have done them, but here, Mary Co has peer reviewed Beatrix Huttons, and Beatrix has written this. These are the comments that Mary Co has given Beatrix about her particular paper. Just a wonderful, wonderful little piece. There is also, this is written feedback that another student has given. They can also record their voice and give them feedback on it as well. Really, really, really cool tool for students to use to share ideas about how each other can improve their writing. So we've all done peer reviews in the past. We've all experienced it. This has been peer reviewed by 2 different students. So you can assign more than one student to these pieces. Again, if you need to know how to do these things, we have all of these how-tos linked right here in this document that I'm going to put into the chat again. But that right there is peer review. Okay, so we're going to try this. You either like this or you don't like it. On the count of 3, everybody's going to unmute, and on the count of 3, if you really, really like it, you're going to say rock and roll. And if you really, really don't think you'll ever use it, or it's not really great for you, you're going to say womp, womp, womp. Okay, so everybody's unmuting. This could get crazy. Y'all ready? On the count of 3, it's either rock and roll or womp, womp, womp. 1.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Rock and
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And what I love about this is you can easily, instead of trying to get all of your class back together, one great thing about this is you can just mute everybody and life is good and you can move on with class. Ashley, it's all you. You're up next.
All right. So keeping in that same vein and thinking about peer review as a type or it allows students to give feedback to one another. But there are multiple ways that Canvas allows teachers to give feedback. Like Marty said, feedback is a really powerful tool. If you look at the research that's out there, feedback is one of the things that promotes learning the most, so that students know where those gaps or their strengths are and they can act on those. And so one of the things in Canvas that I like, and you could do a whole session just on feedback, is there are multiple ways that you can give feedback to students within Canvas. And so one of the things that I love is no matter what I'm in, regardless if it's an assignment, if it's a discussion, if it's a quiz, when I go to grade it, I can give that grade, I can add comments down here. But what I like is that I can also add voice feedback, which a lot of times I feel like it takes me less time to say what I need to say as opposed to type. Perhaps I could even attach a video explanation. Maybe they turned in some math problems or something like that, and I want to attach a video that I've created that explains how to do that problem, so that maybe when they redo their work, or maybe it's a document that goes through and explains some type of, that gives them some type of feedback, some type of extra support as they look at that and redo. If students are turning in documents, they turn in some type of PDF, I can also annotate over top of that and leave feedback. Absolutely. I can go into that document, highlight anything I need to, if my computer will work with me here. I can strike through, leave different comments on there, but a lot of those features are still there. And there are ways to give feedback even in, even if you're in a quiz or things like that. So let me always hate how this does. So even if I'm within the new quizzes that Marty was showing, I still have those options there that I can leave voice, video, or attach a document. Sometimes that video piece will slow down a bit and it takes a minute for it to process. But I can also leave feedback. If you see in your new quizzes, I can leave feedback on individual questions as well. And so when students go in and look at that, they're then able to see that feedback. And so, let me see, I had it pulled up. Maybe I closed out of it. But when students go in, there's a way that they can view feedback too. It's probably beneficial to show them where they can access that feedback. Go to courses. So I'm in Jennifer's class again, like I said. And so if I go down here, I can see that I have feedback on certain assignments. There's the chicken quiz that I took. I can go in and see if there were any comments that my teacher left, but I can also see the individual comments there. And then the same is true for assignment feedback.
Ashley, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
I went through SpeedGrader one day and highlighted and made corrections or whatever on a document, sort of like what you're showing right there. Then when I went back, it wasn't visible. Did I need to go somewhere else to see that? Or was there something I should have done to save it? I went through the whole class and then I went back and none of it was visible. Do you know what might?
I don't know. It would be something that you and I probably need to sit down and see the workflow and what you
I don't know if
did.
there's something you have to do to save your feedback or something like that.
So this is like, I just went in and I can continue to add comments, save. I can view the feedback. And in this particular one, I mirrored as Jennifer and went in and I can continue to reply. So I don't know, Beth, that's something me and you can look at though.
Yeah.
Try
I
to
mean,
figure it out.
obviously I did it wrong, but I'll figure it out.
You should be able to go back and see that feedback, any feedback that you've left, like I've done in here. But there are multiple ways to leave feedback in here. So as you're thinking about workflow and really thinking about how we give students feedback, there are multiple ways that you can do it within Canvas. So thinking about feedback, there's also rubrics that you can leave feedbacks within rubrics. We decided not even to touch on rubrics because that could be a piece in and of itself. But thinking about the feedback piece, which ones do you feel, or which features in the chat, tell us which feature do you think would be most beneficial? To leave the comments, to leave a voice, a video, attach a file, to mark up a document. What do you feel like would be the most beneficial for your students? Sweet. Voice for younger students. That's a really good point. Absolutely. I like the idea of using a GIF in there as well. Kids like those. Awesome. All right, Martin. Let me stop sharing my screen and you can take over.
All right. The very next piece that we have is something that is really, really cool. I hope all teachers have found this and use at least a portion of it, and hopefully we can share some things that you might not have known that were in there. It's new analytics. And did you all see Ashley, when she first started talking about feedback earlier just now, and then she grinned and then I kind of grinned at the same time because she knew at that moment I was going to realize that she hadn't done feedback. And I was talking about, like, I was just going on with life. Like, Ashley just talked about feedback and just talked about, well, she hadn't, and I wasn't listening to her. I was focused on my next thing. So I apologize, Ashley, for not for ruining your feedback session and all. At any rate, we're going to move on to new analytics. New analytics is pretty amazing. It's some things that sometimes takes us a long time back in the day to get for our students, and sometimes our students say, hey, I was online and I did this and I did that. Well, over here in new analytics, it's right here on our homepage of our sandbox. When you click on new analytics, you have the ability to look at all of your sections, and at all the things we go through across here, you have the ability to look at all sections, which I only have one section in this class, but you could type in all of your different sections, or you could do individual students. So what I will do is I'll put one person, and that way you'll see a kid versus the entire course. So I haven't really graded anything in this course yet. So you would see an overall grade and the trends that you see. And then I have assignments and discussions. If I wanted to get rid of assignments and just see what the grades were on discussions, I can uncheck that box and see those things. What's really cool is I could email Crystal Joyce in this case, but if I got rid of Crystal Joyce out of here for right now, I could email any student that had 90 to 100 percentile in my class, and I could say, great job. You are rocking it out in my class this year, etc. Then I would click the send button and it would send that message to the students that had 90 or above. It will not send it now because I have no grades in there. Nothing's been graded, but it would send it there. I could also send a message to all students that were missing grades in my class. I'm just gonna say missing assignment, and get your work done. And I could click the send button again if I had any students in there. And then I could also do that on late work. Okay. If we move across this tab, this is weekly online activity. Under weekly online activity, you can see what your students in this section have done versus the other sections. And this is a great thing when we're, especially when we're back face to face, to show participation of your class versus the second period class in middle school and high school. And then again, you have these features of messaging, and you also have a feature of downloading a CSV with all of the data in it if you needed it for a parent-teacher conference or something of that nature. Under the students report, I can see a lot of different things here. It's almost like my grade book, but it's like a little grade book with a little extra. I see Christy's turned some things in. I can click on Christy's name and look at Christy individually. So this is really, really valuable for our parent-teacher conference. I can see her weekly online activity, page views and participation, and then the communication that I've had with her is right there. So right here in analytics, really, really valuable tool. If I needed to download her grades, it would come down into, right now it's a CSV, I mean, it's a zip folder, but you can open that up and see pieces. Now, if I go back to new analytics and go to reports, reports can run you a report of, say, let's say missing assignments. If I needed a list of all my missing assignments, I could filter it out by assignment or by student. So let's just say that I wanted to know what Michelle Breen was missing. I could run that report. It would come in as an Excel sheet. I could email that to the parent if I needed to, whatever I needed to do, and it would show all of the different pieces that were missing from her work. So another valuable thing here is this message all students who. That's a really, really cool tool to be using when you get grades in and students are actually in your class. Really valuable tool to be able to email everybody to say, hey, you haven't turned in this assignment, make sure you get it turned in. Really, really cool tool. New analytics.
I'm sorry, I did not see how you got there.
So you're in your class, you're in your course, and then you go to new analytics over on the right side. And then across the top, you have all of your options. And then you can click around to see what all you have to offer here. Okay, that is new analytics. So in the chat, 2 old school songs that I have in mind are like, I'm so excited. So we can either write that in the chat, or if you hate this feature, you could say, I had a bad day, take it one down. So it's either I'm so excited or I had a bad day. If you liked it or you didn't like it. And Ashley, it's all you, my friend.
Hey, Marty.
Yep.
Jessica Medley asked a question about love using that from Gradebook 2. I wish we could do a link to the assignment. You can do a link directly to your assignment in Gradebook to Canvas. I'll be glad to show that person at the end.
Okay, great. Thank you, Candy.
You're welcome.
And I didn't see any questions that were in the chat. So thank you for letting me know that question, because there's not any new messages now, and thank you.
All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to share something that some of you may not have played with this year, since it's our first year of full implementation with Canvas, but I feel like it could be utilized across a ton of grade levels and in so many different ways. So one of the things that I'm going to share with you when I'm in my class, if I go to people, one of the things you can see everyone in your class, but one of the things that you have are group sets and creating groups. And so what this does is it takes your class and you can break them up into groups. And basically it gives them their own scaled down instance of Canvas that they can collaborate within. So my mind goes to, like, I taught science and social studies. PBLs were a huge thing, project-based learning. And so if I had those groups and they were getting files and they were pulling together research and they needed to discuss certain questions, this would have been a great place to do that. Lit circles, I can think about if there are different groups reading different types of books, if you're doing different intervention groups maybe, and you're doing different types of question stems and things like that, you could use it in so many different ways. And so when you're under people, you can create group sets. And so I can name it whatever I need to name it. You can allow students, and if you don't remember what I say right now, that's totally fine. It tells you right beside this. So if you're allowing students to pick their own group, maybe like you have different topics, you can allow them to self-sign up, or you can manually do it. There's so many different ways that you can set them up. So I can decide to split students into a certain number of groups. I can split students into groups that have to have so many students per group, or I can create the groups. So you can allow Canvas to do it randomly if you're really wanting a heterogeneous mix of different students, or if you're really wanting them to group them by topic or by Lexile levels, whatever the case may be, you can create the groups. And so I've already created some here. This is with our ITF group. But if I go in and look at my groups, and I did randomly, I can see who is in that group. If I have somebody that is unassigned for whatever reason, I can either drag and drop them to a group, or I can click the plus button and choose where to put them as well. Each group, I can choose a group leader, which kind of manages the people within that group. And you can set that group leader if you want different roles within your group, and one of them is the group leader, or what, you can do that. But then when I go in here, each group has their own page. You can see that each group can have their own announcements. Each group can have their own set of pages. I can see the people who are in that group. They can have their own discussion questions. So for me, thinking about like literature circles and different groups of students reading different books, that could be really beneficial. Their own files and collaborations. And so it gives them their own scaled down version of Canvas for them to work within. And you can have multiple group sets. And you can edit groups, absolutely drag and drop students, move them around within there. And then from the student perspective, if you want to see what a student sees, let me go in as Jennifer. So if I go into that ITF class and I go to people, from a student perspective, I can see students could be a part of multiple groups. It's not going to let me join any of the groups that I'm not a part of, if that makes sense. So they're locked. I'm part of this group 8, so I can visit that group. And there's nothing there for me at this point because this is just a practice class, but it looks very similar on the student end as well. So lots of implications for how you could use that in the classroom. But I know it's a feature that a lot of us just haven't played around with because we haven't had time, and Canvas is very new for us. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment. And I want you to think.
Clarifying question.
Yep, what you got?
So I'm thinking about doing this with small groups, as you're mentioning this. And so like I have a schedule on my class as to what day each small group is with me. So could I link this to my daily Canvas page and have them be able to click on it to go do their assignment with my small groups? And so that each group, and I just want to make sure I understand that each group's not going to be able to see what each group has assigned. Is that correct? Like my high kids aren't going to be able to see what my low kids are working on?
Right. You're correct there.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
Yep. They can only see the stuff for their particular group.
Is that,
Go ahead.
Is
So that was
that in the directions? Because I played with this for a while and every time I put an assignment in and tried to do it just for the group, everybody saw it and it started coming up on everybody's to-do list.
I linked
Probably doing something wrong, but I just couldn't, I thought at
Yes,
my
it
end,
is
it all looked correct, but then my kids were all like, we have all this stuff for everybody.
It is Lori's fault, Ashley. It is not yours. It's always Lori's.
always
doubt.
Lori's.
No doubt.
Okay, well, Lori, I don't.
Hey, let's
believe
work with that. Lori, we'll work with it and figure it out.
I'll
Jerry's
figure out a way.
a good resource for that, and we'll just figure out why it's not working if it's not.
Okay. I had the same question, Lori.
Okay. Yeah,
Joey,
we'll
what
dig into
school are
it
you
and
at?
see what's going on.
I'm at Atkins, and I was thinking the same thing. If I had small groups or groups that required, they had different requirements based upon 504s, IEPs, things of that nature. And I wanted to make sure, I didn't want them in a group with other 504 students and they knew I'm in the group with 504 students. You know, so I was wondering about it being anonymous.
Yeah, so they can see who's in their group. So that's a good
Okay, so
question.
Okay.
They can see who is in their group, because if they go to people, like I'll mirror again like Jennifer. So I'll show you from the student perspective.
Can the
If I go
students see
in-
the people tab?
So hold on just a second. If
I don't
go-
think my students can see the people tab.
Yeah, I disabled that. That's not up for mine.
Interesting. But like I can't
Okay.
see who's in these groups, but I can see who is in. But if I go to my group and go to people, I can see who's in my group. So I can see that.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
All right, we have 3 more to go, Ashley. So I'm
Right.
gonna
You
jump
cut me
off of
off?
this because there's directions and we got ITFs, and we just want to share with you some different ideas of what can happen out there. And we'll stay on after this. Ashley and I will stay on after this to help with any kind of like little small questions you have. I really am excited to show you. I created this GIF the other day. GIFs get me excited. And kids use GIFs and memes and all that all the time. If we as teachers would use little things like this to spice up our pages, because Canvas pages are not that exciting. GIFs can get your kids a little more excited or engaged. Very easy to use. On this, I'm not showing my page, am I? Let me share my screen. So on the document that we have given you all are links, and links to the GIFs is this thing called Giphy. There are tons of different GIFs out there. I'm not going to search for all the GIFs in the world right here. I'm just going to pick the first one that come up, and that's that one there. We're rocking and rolling. We want to put this on our Canvas page, so we're going to use the word embed. When we click on embed, this GIF embed code comes up. We take and copy it. Simple as that, right? Easy, easy, easy so far. Giphy is the site. We said, hey, this is the GIF I want. We can search for anything we want to out there. We click on the word embed. We copy the embed code. We go over into our class and we edit. When we go to edit here, at the bottom of this edit screen, you will see a less than / greater than. That means HTML code. That's basically a place to put in HTML code. Watch what happens when I click on this. All of everything that I have so far up there is HTML code. This right here this P begins a paragraph. So I'm going to enter, and I'm going to paste, Control V and paste. That's what I just copied from Giphy. And I just pasted that there. And I click save. And there it is on my page. A Giphy added to my page. A GIF added to my page. So it's really simple. Go to Giphy. Go back to your page. edit, paste that code in there, and you're rocking and rolling. At the end, if we have any time, I'll show you how I created this Jiffy really easy of myself. Ashley, it's all you.
I always think we have so much more time than we have. Like an hour goes by so fast. So one of the things that I want to show, and this is a really quick one, is one of the things that I love about Google products is that there's a revision history, and that if I ever accidentally delete everything or something crazy happens, I can always go back and restore to a previous version. And so I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with this, but there is a similar feature in Canvas for pages. And so if I'm in a page, and this is just our landing page with lots of GIFs on it from Marty, if I go up to the 3 dots here, I can click View Page History. And what that does is it gives me a running record of every time that page has been changed. So if someone, maybe I'm working with a colleague who likes to add a lot of GIFs and that's a little too busy for me and I need to restore it to a much simpler page, I can go back and restore it to that previous version. For me, when I think about this and I think about the idea of using groups, that adds a level of accountability for me so that when I'm in, I ask them to create a page for their group, I can go into that particular, maybe they need to add resources for research, whatever the case may be, to that particular page. Maybe that page is going to be what they present off of. I can go in and view page history even within my groups and see who did what and when that last revision was made. So that's a feature that may or may not be familiar with, but it's one of the ones I like because it's very similar to some of the Google products. All right.
I need to give, are you done? I'm sorry.
Yes. Yep. I was quick. I know.
I have got to give a shout out to someone, and I can't look up the name now. I've got to give a shout out to that person. Y'all look in the piece. It says you can embed by you just using the insert feature, and I did not know that. I just learned that. That's pretty awesome.
Laura Bilton.
Laura, very nice. I'm going to show you how to do that. Then I'm going to show you the #1 tool in Canvas. So let me show you real quick what Laura just taught me. You click on the edit button, and instead of going down here to insert to the HTML, you put your cursor wherever you would like this GIF. I'm going to put it there. And then you go up to this insert tool here and go to embed, and you just paste the embed code there, submit, and voila, it's really just that simple. That's so much easier. Thank you so much, Laura. That was not always there until that new rich content editor, I don't think, come about. So thank you so much for teaching me that. I appreciate it. Are y'all ready? Post in the chat real quick. You gotta be quick. What do you think the #1 tool that we're going to show in Canvas is today? The #1 tool. We don't have a link to it. We don't have anything. What do you think it's going to be? The #1 tool. All right, the #1 tool in Canvas. If everybody can see my screen, watch it. Is this button right here. It's called the Help tool. It is your best friend as a Canvas user. Everybody's a Canvas beginner in this district this year. This Help tool right here is chock full of things. The very first thing that I really want you all to learn and know is this Canvas chat help. Any question you can ask me or ask your ITF can be asked to these people right here. They're going to get to you a lot quicker when you click on it. You basically fill out some things real quick. You say, I'm a teacher, and then you just ask your question, and they'll chat with you back and forth there. If you'd rather talk to someone on the phone, you can call their hotline. But I would advise this chat is really, really, really great. The second thing I want you to bring your attention to is search the Canvas guides right here. Under search the Canvas guides, I always go to the instructor guides. I know that today we learned about quizzes, so I'm going to do a Control F up here and type in the word quizzes. And we want to learn about new quizzes, and here's everything you'll ever need to know about new quizzes. And these things are great. How do I edit an assessment in new quizzes? It gives you step-by-step how to do these things. So a lot of people today are going to email us and say, hey, can you teach us how to do those new quizzes and all that kind of stuff? Here is your help. This is your help section right here. And you can ask those people from chat. It's going to be a lot quicker than emailing anyone, because if you email me along with everybody else emailing me, I have to get to your email first. A lot of times I'll go straight to these documents and send you a link to these documents. You can cut out myself and basically just go right here. Then if you still can't figure it out, or Canvas check can't happen, I'm always, always, always ready to rock and roll with you guys and help you out.
All right, some of you have already asked about the attendance. I've put it in there multiple times. It should be the last thing in the chat for everyone as well. There's an attendance form and a feedback form for today. So if you would take just a few minutes, I know we're right at 12 o'clock, and click on those links so that you get credit for being here, the attendance form, and then the feedback form for us as well. So.
Thank y'all so much for joining. And if anybody wants to hang around, I will show you how to create that GIF with your with you on it. I'm going to share my screen now. Everyone is welcome to leave. Any questions about the session real quick before we go on to that? Bye, Candy. I see you waving.
Ashley Eller. What's Ashley Eller's maiden name?
I have no clue.
Oh, crud. Sorry.
Is she on here?
Yeah, she said.
I was Wilmeth when I had you in what, like 7th grade?
Yes, and you know the bottoms. That's our connection too.
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
Well, fun, exciting. So I'm going to share my screen.
Marty, I just wanted to let you know, I emailed you yesterday about losing my page, and I contacted Canvas Help, and they gave me a case number, and 3 times they were back and forth with me, and they couldn't find that page, or they didn't know how to tell me. So you just telling me to go to whatever you did, all classes, and star it. Like, I didn't want you to think that I didn't use help or didn't know how to use help.
Oh, beautiful. No worries.
They just couldn't answer that. And it seemed like when you answered it, such a simple question, but they're like, what was that class called? And what did you have last? And where was it?
Yeah.
So I did reach out, but thank you.
But Cheryl, I will say that they've answered many questions that I couldn't.
I'm sure.
I mean, it takes everybody to make it happen. Also, thank you for that. Yeah. Here's how I made the GIF, y'all. It's real easy. We have a district subscription to WeVideo. In WeVideo, you log in with your Google account. I'm already logged in. I can say create new, and I want to create a new GIF. And then all you do is start editing. And it's really, really, really quite simple. I can record the way I recorded that when I recorded with my webcam. And it's not allowing me to do it right now because my camera is working with Zoom. So then it would pop up here. You could then add words. You would just drag your words down to as the video piece, and then you would edit the words. You would save the changes, and let's pretend that I had a video here. All you would do then was finish the project. Make sure your words are the length of whatever video that you created. And remember that I couldn't create a video because right now it's with you all. So WeVideo is a place that you could create that GIF.
Yeah, some people have already asked about the recording, that there was a lot today and you wanted something to reference. You've got that document, but there'll also be the recording